Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eniola Omowumi, and today I will be presenting on how to secure SSH protocols using OpenSSH on the Linux. This presentation will cover the basics of SSH, the importance of securing it, key security recommendations from I, and the configuration steps to hardening the service. Thank you very much, and let's get right in. First, let's start with a brief introduction of SSH. For those who don't know what SSH stands for, SSH stands for Secure Shell, a cryptographic protocol that allows secure communications over unsecured networks. It has two main purposes. First is to secure remote login, and the second is to secure file transfer using tools such as SCP and SFTP. Now that we know the basics of SSH, let's talk about why we need SSH. SSH encrypts all transmitted data, preventing eavesdropping by attackers. It also replaces less secure protocols such as Telnet and FTP, which transmit data using plain text, which is very susceptible to attacks. So, this is why SSH is a critical protocol for anybody working in the remote sector. And as we know, this is quite useful for government, schools, anything in this day and age. Let's move on to the next slide. Now that we've talked about SSH, let's talk about OpenSSH, one of the most popular implementation of SSH protocol. It is free, open source, and widely used on Linux and Unix-based systems. OpenSSH provides several important tools such as SSHD, SSH, SCP, and SFTP. SSHD, the SSH daemon that runs on servers to accept connections. SSH, a client tool that allows users to log in remotely to servers. And SCP and FTP, tools for securely transferring files and data between devices. OpenSSH is the backbone for secure communications in many systems today, which is also used in government, schools, and businesses nowadays. Let's move on to the next slide. While SSH is inherently secure than most other protocols in this day and age, it is not without its vulnerabilities. As we know, the landscape of cybersecurity is ever evolving due to the fact that the threat agents are also evolving. SSH also has its vulnerabilities. If we use the default configuration for SSH, it becomes exposed to various attacks. Some of the common threats include brute force attacks, which automate scripts trying to guess the password. Another issue in automated scan targeting the default port 22. Additionally, allowing root users to log in directly can compromise the entire service in case of unauthorized access. Our goal here is hardening SSH to reduce risks. This is the goal. And to the next slide. In this next slide, I'll talk about my recommendations for securing SSH to enhance its security. First, basic root login. Basic root login, root access are powerful. Allowing direct SSH access to root accounts is very, very risky. So first, I will advise that we disable root login with these commands. Bash permits root login, no. With this change, users must log in with a regular account and use sudo for administration tasks. Next, change the default SSH port. Like I said in the previous slide, using the default settings on SSH makes it quite susceptible to attacks such as brute force attacks. By default, SSH listens on port 22, which is frequently scanned by bots and attackers. Changing the ports to say 2222 reduce exposures. Although it does not eliminate all risks, it helps in minimizing automated attacks. Third, use public keys authentication and disable password. Password can be brute force. It is not impenetrable. It can be guessed and it can be brute force using automated scans, using automated bots. So we switch to public keys authentication. This ensures that only users with private keys can log in. The code for this is password authentication no. These three steps significantly improve SSH securities, but also remember it does not eliminate all threat. Cybersecurity is an ever progressing and evolving landscape. It does all the steps that I have given does not eliminate threats of attacks completely. Let's move on to the next slide. Now that I have given you the steps and recommendation for securing SSH, I will give you, let me walk you through the implementation of the recommendations that I have given on the Linux servers using OpenSSH. First, we install OpenSSH using code sudo app update and sudo app install OpenSSH servers, OpenSSH-servers. Then we edit the SSH configuration file, disable root login, change SSH ports, disable password authentication, and thirdly, we set up a secure SSH key authentication. One on the client's machine, generate the SSH key pair, then copy the key public to the servers, and then we fourth but not lastly, we restart the SSH servers to apply all the changes that we've implemented. And remember, always any type of change you do on a server or on a system, we always want to test it to make sure that it works. To test this, we try logging into the client with the new settings, SSH-P2222 user and servers -IP. This steps ensures that SSH is securely configured and it is better for us. In conclusion, SSH is very essential for remote service management, but we must secure it to prevent unauthorized access. Today, I have shared 3 key recommendations. Disable root login, change the default SSH port, use public key authentication instead of passwords. By following these steps, we harden SSH and reduce attack surfaces, ensuring a more secure environment for root access. On the last page, you can find my references that I have used throughout this entire presentation for further review, and in case if you want to dive deeper into the SSH landscapes. Thank you for watching, and have a good day. Bye.